And right now, we are joined by Laken Tomlinson. Everybody cap it up one more time for my guy.
How you doing?
Man,
Good to have you.
Hey, good to see you again,
Well,
man.
on.
Yes,
Looking
sir.
good,
man. Good to see you. My guy is from Jamaica.
Yeah, man.
Jamaica.
Yeah, man.
All ACC type of player. Spent some time in the league with several teams, and one team you spent some time with. We just got him last week.
Got him.
So, honestly, you were one of the first people I thought about. Honestly, I thought about my homies back home who like the Niners. I hit them up, sent them a text. And then, two, I thought about you and what that meant for you to get that win going back to Santa Clara. What was that like?
Man, it meant a lot. You know, just going back to my first time back in that stadium since I left. So it really meant a lot, man. Saw a lot of familiar faces. It was kind of nostalgic feeling, but I was there on a mission. You know, I was there with my team, and we went in there and got the job done. So super happy and proud of the guys, man. And we needed that one, too.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, six losses in a row. That's tough. We had a nemesis, Kansas City. Lost 7 years in a row when I played in Kansas City, and it just killed me. And I saw you when you guys lost to them here. You were pretty upset about that one, too.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Is it personal, or is it just because you knew guys there?
It's personal because, you know, you spend a lot of time with the guys around you, and you feel the history from all those guys, too. So, you know, when you get to know the guys on a personal level, it becomes personal to you as well. So just spending the time with those guys, man, that's what made it personal for me.
What's it like for you guys? Because, you know, there are rarely any blowouts in the NFL. You look at the Detroit Lions, and they got rid of the Jags, okay. But there are rarely any blowouts in the NFL. And I describe a football game to people as it's just a ball of stress. Who's going to handle the stress better than anybody else? What was it about the Seahawks on that day that allowed you guys to handle the stress better than anyone else?
Man, you know, just coming in enemy territory and you know, taking care of business. You know, big shout out to Olu. He came in, stepped up in a big way, communication-wise, and he went out there and did his thing. Abe Lucas went out there as well, came out, stepped up in a big way for us, and we just executed on a higher level, man. And when it came down to that fourth quarter in the last drive, you know, I just remember being in the huddle, and I was just looking across the huddle, and I saw Gino. I just saw him smiling. I don't know if anybody else saw him, but I saw him smiling. I was like, oh, yeah, we're winning this game for sure.
Let's go.
So when you have guys like that and that confidence level, man, you know, it takes you – this guy's the limit.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, 80 yards, you know, that, and no field goal. I mean, you got to get the touchdown.
Yep.
Did you guys say anything going into that final drive? Because you guys did seem pretty confident in that drive.
I'm telling you, man, I was in the huddle, that very first play. I saw Gino. He just took over. He knew he was going to go win that game. And all we can do is just back him up as teammates. So you guys went out there. We executed at an extremely high level. And, you know, you saw what Gino did in the last play.
You got Olu, as you mentioned, that, you know, Connor Williams retiring, obviously probably a shock to all of you. But you get Olu. You got to be excited for him. Talk about going into that game, just knowing you got Olu and the 49ers, what your mindset was. And at what point during the game did you stop thinking of, okay, Olu's in here?
I would say from the very first play. You know, from the very first play, you know, we had, like, through our meetings last week, we had our goals that we had for our offensive line. And from the very first play, just going back and looking at the iPad and seeing Olu with a knockdown, I was like, yeah, he's good to go. He's prepared, man. And throughout the whole entire work week as well, he's just been on the P's and Q's, hyping the guys up, leading the charge. And that's big for a center, you know, especially for a guy coming in, you know, with new communication, new guys around him. So so proud of him. I thought he played his butt off. So I'm really proud of him.
All right, so I'm going to take you back to the island. When I think of Jamaica, athletes, one, I think of sprinters all day, right? Fastest human beings in the world.
I'm not a sprinter now.
I know. I'm getting there. And then I think of soccer. I think that's a national sport. But you decided to play football. How did you get from Jamaica to the NFL?
So, you know, when I first moved to the States, you know, we moved to Chicago. And, you know, my grandma, you know, God bless her, and she was real good to us. So she gave us a lot of food when we came in. I'm talking about, like, first time having pizza, first time having a cheeseburger, like ice cream, like always in the fridge, the freezer. And I was just, you know, it's the first time having that abundance of food. So, you know, me and being a young kid, I was like, man, I'm maxing out everything.
Right.
So mind you, no, we weren't outside like we usually were. Like we're in Jamaica. In Jamaica, we have a lot of open area, a lot of free roam. you can go out, play soccer, cricket, whatever you want to do. But in Chicago, it's cold. You don't want to be out in the streets late at night and stuff like that.
Yep.
So I spent a lot of times inside. A lot of times inside, eating a lot of food. I got big, and I'll tell some people the story that I gained like 50 pounds in the summer, and they don't believe me. I was
Really?
like, yeah, man, my body like exploded, knees hurt, ankles hurt, everything. So, and that was I was 11 years old, and I get a huge growth spurt. My mom saw that, and she was like, "You need to get out the house. You need to go do a sport." So. My uncle at the time.
In Chicago,
yeah.
I mean, it's all about hooping in Chicago.
It's all about hooping, yeah. But I didn't know nothing about hooping. I was just watching the TV with my grandpa. He talk about the Chicago Bulls. I don't know what he's talking about. So I was like, yeah, it's a basketball team, but I don't even know where they at.
Yeah.
So it was cool though, because my uncle, he brought me to my first practice with my mom, and he was like, I think you'll be really good at American football. So I'm like, I really just did it to please my mom. But it ended up being something that changed my entire life.
Man, awesome.
Well, I was going to say, pretty good. So let's keep moving. Now, how do you end up going to Duke?
Okay, so I chose Duke. I was heavily recruited out of high school. Ohio State, Northwestern, U of I, all the schools in those areas, Big Ten. They really recruited me hard, but I got to give a shout out to Coach David Cluckliff when he was at Duke at the time. He recruited me extremely hard. Came to my home games, him personally, instead of sending a recruiter. And he was there and he talked to me. I went on an official visit there as well. And also, I mean, at the time it wasn't a football powerhouse, but I knew what it could do for me academically. And somebody told me back then that a degree from Duke, that's like a 50-year commitment.
Yep.
So I really took that to heart. And at the time, something was going on with my family. My grandpa ended up passing away. And, he had visited Jamaica and passed away at the hospital. So that kind of really got to me, as a young kid in high school. And I did some investigating, and I just found out that the healthcare system there was poor. And I wanted to do something about that. I'm a young kid, but I felt extremely ambitious about that. So I saw football as a chance to attain a goal that I wanted for myself. That was to be a doctor and give back to my country. My ultimate goal I wanted to build a hospital in Jamaica.
That's awesome, man. For you to have the consciousness to kind of plan ahead, because a lot of young folks don't do it. They kind of live for the now, and for you to be at such a young age and do that is awesome. I turned down Stanford, man. I didn't want to go to Stanford, but man. Just your journey is amazing. I think it represents a lot of what this country is about, right? Just advancing yourself and advancing your family. And that is close to my heart because, I have family. My wife is Latin, and their family comes from Central America, and they've done the same thing. So I appreciate you sharing your story. Another thing that impresses me about you, man, it's hard to play in the NFL. It is tough. You got 10 years in the game. Like, what do you think has allowed you to prosper the way that you have in the NFL?
Man, first and foremost, man, I got to thank God. Without His blessing, I wouldn't be here today talking to you. So I thank God, and not only giving me the body to be able to withstand the work for this amount of time, but giving me a good brain to be able to have the knowledge to take care of myself as well. Because I put a lot of time into my body in the off season, getting right whatever I need to get right, staying strong, lifting weights, being conditioned, and which sets me up for the season. So I do put a lot of time in my body, off season and in season. And when young guys come to me, it's kind of surprising now because I'm an OG now. When young guys come to me, it's like, how do you go about your routine throughout the season? I just go back and just tell them all the stuff that I've learned from guys, when I was a young guy. I was in Detroit. One of my mentors was Megatron. And he took me under his wing, and he told me, like, this is all the stuff that I do, to get ready for a game and how I stack it week to week to week, So I just took that to heart, man. And, I just remember, it's like, I'm just going to take it one day at a time. One day at a time, one game at a time. And next thing you know, I'm in year 10. I was like, man. I tell that to a young guy. I was like, hey, man, if you just take it one day at a time, one game at a time, you'll be surprised. You surprise yourself for how
Right.
far you can go.
Yep.
Well, it's remarkable. You played 52 games when you were at Duke. You played,
so.
I don't know, 150 now in the NFL. I got to ask, how do you feel right now?
I feel great. I feel really, really great, man, especially with this group of offensive linemen I got right now. A lot of young guys around me, but that gives me energy, So I feel really good, man. I'm healthy. I'm blessed, man, every day. I get to walk around and hang out with my kids and throw them up and play around with them. So I feel real good, man.
Amen.
And you have a family.
Yes,
so,
I do.
So tell me about the family. As much as you want to tell me about the family, some guys don't want to talk about it, and I respect that. But where'd you meet your wife, and how's your family doing out here in the Northwest?
My family is good, man. So I met my wife actually my freshman year at Duke. We got together, same major. She went off to do double major psychology and biology. I double majored psychology and evolution anthropology. We were like we were just study buddies, together all the time. And then she actually went on to, she followed me to Detroit when I got drafted to go to med school in Michigan. So she went to a PhD school in Michigan, And then we got married. When I got married, I got traded. So she finished her PhD in Michigan.
Uh-huh.
I finished my contract in Detroit. She now has gotten her residency and finished her residency in San Francisco. When I was in San Francisco, I was in New York.
Wow. And
between all of that, we've managed to have two beautiful kids. My big girl, Taylor, she's 4 years old, and my son, Leon, is 2 years old. So we've been trucking along, man. But I'm so proud of her for sticking to her dreams as well, and allowing me to chase my dreams as well.
Man, that's beautiful. That's awesome. We appreciate you taking time out of your day today, man. Give it up one more time for Laken Tomlinson.